'cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 3 of my monthly wrap-up for what I read in October. So let's get through my last 10 books. Yes, that's right, I read 30 books this month, which is kind of awesome because I'm just now filming this. I actually pre-filmed my TBR like yesterday, the 30th. This is the 31st. At like 11 o'clock at night, so I know I'm not going to finish any more books by now. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to finish 30 books, so I didn't say it in the TBR, in the book haul video. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't even know if I don't know. But I read 30 books and I bought 34. So I'm getting better and I'm getting to the point where I'm reading more than I'm buying. And technically I did read more than I bought because quite a few of my hauled books were e-galleys. So they were ARCs that I received. Yeah. So let's just get into it. The first book I have is Chosen by PC and Kristen Cast. This one was so much better than the first 2 books in the House of Night series. The pacing has definitely picked up by this point, and it's not as slow, but this one could still be a little better, so I only give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I need you back. After that, I read The Tales of Beedle the Bard by J.K. Rowling. This is very well known because it is the stories mentioned in the sixth Harry Potter book. I think it's the 6th one. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been so long since I read the Harry Potter books, but I wanted a short book to read because I hadn't been feeling well one day, so I picked this up. I really enjoyed this though. It is definitely one of my favorite books. Definitely one of my favorite Harry Potter books too, because it's more like, I don't want to say nursery rhymes. What is it? Fairy tales. Fairy tales. And I'm definitely gonna actually make my kids, I'm gonna actually read these to my kids when they're growing up, so they're all gonna think that magic is real. But I give this a 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read Untamed by PC and Kristen Cast. I really enjoyed this one. The action was great, and the plot is getting really good in these. But I still only gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I just feel like this series could have something. I don't know what, but it needs something. And I can't figure it out. After that, I finally got through Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor, and I literally went out the next day and returned this book to the library. I didn't want it in my house anymore. But this was just so slow. I really feel like Laini Taylor could have made this so much shorter, and could have made it better being shorter. And more interesting. It was just so blah. The last 100 pages were really good, and I really liked them. And I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but it was more like a 3.5. But on Goodreads, I always tend to uprate books if I'm doing like a 0.5. So 3.5 goes to 4, a 4.5 would go to 5. I'm just a nice person. I feel like, but I always say if I do that, I always put on there, you know, this was more of a 3.5. It wasn't a good book. I didn't like it. It was worth it to read, but at the same time, I wanted to DNF it 4 or 5 times. I'm dreading getting into Dreams of Gods and Monsters, but I feel like I should at least try, because I pushed myself through days. After that, I read Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. this was absolutely hilarious. I loved this so much, and I'm definitely going to get my own copy of this, because I feel like if I was ever in a reading slump, this would probably get me out of it because of how funny it is. And I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. After that, I read Shadows, which is in my opposition book. And I absolutely loved this prequel. It was awesome getting to see Dawson and Bethany's story and how everything started, kind of, with the whole hybrids and that kind of stuff. And I give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I actually can't wait for the 6th book, which I think is like 2.5. I can't remember for sure. After that, I read an e-arc that I received on NetGalley that was Banished Sons of Poseidon by Andrew J. Peters. This was just so hot and cold for me. There was so many... it was just so slow in so many parts. It was just... ugh. I wanted to DNF it so many times that it was a task to get through it, and the only reason I pushed myself through it was because it was an eGalley, and I didn't want to DNF it. I wanted to at least push myself through it and give it a rating, because I felt like I needed to as a reviewer, and, you know, because they gave me a free copy of it. But that was the only, you know, I still rated it pretty bad. The ending was sweet, but it was still definitely only a 3 out of 5 stars for me. Maybe even less, but I really did like the ending, so I gave it a 3 stars. After that, I read Miss Mayhem by Rachel Hawkins. This is the 2nd book in the Rebel Belle series, and, I loved this book. It kept me sucked in the whole entire time. I read it in about a day. And I'm actually very excited for the 3rd book coming out in April called Lady Renegades. That is one that is on my most anticipated releases of 2016 list that's on my blog. So, yeah. And I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And I forgot to grab this book. After that, I read a little bit of a throw-in book, and that was The 13 Nights of Halloween by Guy Vasilovich. Don't know if I pronounced it right. The thing with this, and it's obviously, you know, it's only like 40 pages long. I have a little cousin who is actually turning 10 on, I want to say Friday or Saturday, sometime this week. Sometime at the start of November. She's turning 10, but she gave this to me a few years ago for Christmas, actually. She knows how obsessed I am with Halloween and with Penguin, so yeah. But she gave this to me for Christmas, and I absolutely love it. This is kind of the 12 Days of Christmas, only Halloween style, and it's just so adorably cute, and I actually read this every Halloween. And this is definitely one of my favorite, like, children's books. Excuse me. And this is definitely one that I keep very safe. This doesn't even go on my shelves. This is actually in a box with a few other, like, very special books that I try to keep very neat and nice, because I will never be able to get a copy of this again, unless I want to pay up the butt. But I think my aunt paid like $3 for this off of one of those Scholastic book sales that the schools always hold here. So yeah, but I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and that's pretty much what I rate it every time. I just love this book so much, and it's just so adorable. And yes, it's so pretty too. The artwork in it is just so cool. So yeah. And the final book that I read that I actually just finished was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I loved this so much, and all I can say is that I'm definitely going to be reading the rest of the series as soon as I can get my hands on them, whether it be through ebook like this one was on my Kindle, or whether I go out and just buy all 4 books, because that might happen too, because I want to get my hands on a physical copy of Throne of Glass. Eventually, I plan to own this whole series physical copy. It just happened to be that this was on sale on Kindle, so I grabbed it while I could, because I really wanted to start it. But I give this a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm very excited to read the next one. So that is all for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye, everyone.
'Cause you were born with mischief in your eyes and fire in your veins.